Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the third episode of Coast to Coast Folks. My name is Chloe, or Fantastical Nowhere, and here with me is the beautiful, wonderful, amazing Rose.
Rose or Dark Mystic Rose and Rose's Folk Cabinet.
Cozy Whimsy Rose.
I have like 4 accounts. You know what I realized? That's part of the problem with all the fake accounts.
There's so many to choose
Well,
from.
it's my fault because I keep changing my name and having so many different names. It's like, how does anybody know? Anyways.
Listen, they should be able to know by the viewer count. If the view count is like 20.
Yeah, this is our disclaimer message. If you see an account that has 30 followers,
it's not us.
It's not us.
If they are following more people than are following them, guess what? It's not us. I will never reach out to you. Most of us will. I'm not going to reach out to you about spell work, about
Readings.
a reading. First of all, I don't even do active spell work and readings for y'all.
Disclaimer, you heard it here, folks.
So yeah, it should be pretty easy. So today the topic we have is Ancestor Veneration. There's been a lot of discourse and hate.
Yeah.
About Ancestor Veneration. I don't like it.
It's been a highly requested topic too, I think, like even just for each of us individually. And also I know on Patreon too, a lot of people have been asking about the Ancestor Veneration. There's been a lot of discourse. There's been a lot of disagreements. So we have a list of questions here. Quite a few questions. As you guys know, we like to yap, and we're going to go through them and see where we go.
I'm going to try not to yap as much, y'all. I'm sorry.
So first question here, what is the difference between Ancestor Veneration and Ancestor Elevation?
This is, in my opinion, a particularly like folk concept. So everything always seems to be in New Modern is getting something from deity, ancestor energy. You're getting something from them, or you're trying to get something from them, or whatever. Elevation has nothing to do with that. Elevation is taking a spirit that might be traumatized, might be, I hate using this term, but like low vibrational, and by low, it's like I hate using that term.
New age term.
It's a very new age term, but basically, so when we say low vibrational, what I mean is all of the emotions that are so overwhelming that they can't exist in peace. Anger, sadness, vengeance, et cetera, that kind of thing. We elevate them so they can get to a place of peace where they could help us, maybe, or maybe they can just exist in a peaceful plane, and they might not do anything after that.
Yeah, no, I think that I agree with that. If you're done.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, just making sure. I think that elevation is a part of Ancestor Veneration, if that makes sense. It's like, it's 2 different concepts, but they're interrelated, and one can't really exist without the other, in my opinion. I do think that like a, what's the word? Well-rounded Ancestor Veneration practice would also include elevation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There also are reasons why you might not want to elevate certain ancestors. And I know okay.
This has come up.
This has come up so much, and it comes up, I'm literally like, y'all are gonna see me rubbing my temples and rubbing my I'm trying to stay calm.
I know.
Because there is always kind of this air of like, only work with elevated ancestors and only with your highest good in mind, and they have to be holier than. None of our ancestors were holier than thou, y'all. They were human.
Yeah.
They had all of these like flaws and all of these, some of them more than others. Some of them were, whatever, hitters, what I like to call like big hitters, criminals. I might not want to elevate them.
Yeah, which is reasonable, by the way.
And
you don't have to.
I might not want to elevate them because I don't want to deal with them. One,
right.
Which we'll touch on that. Or I might not want to elevate them because I want them to stay vengeful.
Right.
I want them to stay vengeful.
Why for some practices, specifically folk practices, I would say, is it ancestors first? And do you mind if I share my thoughts really quick? Just because
you need to share your thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you.
Timmy is chicken though.
I think that the reason why a lot of folk practices in general do prioritize ancestor veneration or ancestral practices is because, well, the practice exists because our ancestors created it, usually through syncretism
Mhm.
with uh, colonizer religions. I'm just gonna say it bluntly, right? I think that to abandon the ancestral practice, specifically at least in like Melungeon conjure or folk Catholicism, and Chloe might speak for her personal folk practices, I think that it would be irresponsible. And it also, well, it doesn't really work like that.
I think it's also abandonment of the self.
Mm,
Because they are you. And as much as
mm,
you don't want to admit that, they are. I'm so sorry. There's no other way. Like, you are your ancestors. They are you. The only reason you are on this earth is
hmm.
because they made the decisions that they made, whether you agreed with them or didn't agree with them, or how they went about things, them being Protestant, Episcopal, whatever, Baptist, racist, what?
Colonizers.
Colonizers. The things that they did led to you being here. So there is an inherent respect and reverence that we have for them, simply because without them we would not be here,
Yeah.
and we would not have the practices that we have. So for Rose, and also for myself, because I practice hoodoo, it is ancestors first always. And it is controversial take number 1
Of many.
of many. Um your ancestors are going to get you something before anybody else will.
Period.
They're gonna get it for you, and get it for you fast
Mm-hmm.
before anybody else will. It, you need a job? Uncle Ricky always had a job. It might not have been the job you wanted at the time, but Uncle Ricky always had a job.
Yeah.
And Aunt Susie, she was always singing for the church choir,
Mhm.
had all the attention on her. You want more visibility? Go to her. Why are you going to, and I'm so sorry for anybody, I'm just throwing out a random deity. Why are you going to like Aphrodite, who has a million followers in line, when you could go to Aunt Susie? And Aunt Susie had the whole church enraptured with her.
Right. No, I think you make a really, really good point. And like Chloe
No hate
said,
to Aphrodite.
yeah, no hate to Aphrodite. Like, that's not to say that like deity veneration isn't going to get you the things you want, but I do think that people, I've heard this idea specifically perpetuated on social media recently that ancestors are somehow like less than,
Yes.
and that an ancestral practice is less than and less powerful than like deity worship or veneration. And I think that that is completely incorrect.
And it's very narrow.
It is very narrow.
It's a very narrow, not to mention, and we will get into this further down the line, but like diasporic ancestors, natural ancestors, living ancestors, like it's all ancestral work.
Yeah.
And to say that it's just the ancestors that passed away is really, really limiting you to kind of the like, and I guess I can kind of speak for Rose, and I can kind of speak for myself. All of the success we have had is because of our ancestors.
Oh, 100%.
And listen,
Yeah.
ancestors, don't be mad at me. My ancestors were not anyone special outside of our family.
Right.
They really weren't.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing more special about mine than anyone else's, but they are getting me what I want quickly,
Yeah.
fast and in a hurry. I do, Rose does as well, deity veneration. Not that much. Not as much as I do ancestor
Agreed.
veneration.
Yeah. And I think what you said too about how, like, if you need something done, if you're in a tough situation and you need help, my first instinct, like, as a practitioner, is to go to my ancestors. Because much like you would in the physical plane, you know, if something bad happens to you or you're in a really tough situation, who are you going to call?
Mom.
Yeah. You're going to call, like, the people that are close to you, or even, like, a really good friend.
Really good friend.
Right?
Friends are also ancestors, and their ancestors are your ancestors, y'all.
You get it. Precisely.
You get it.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. So much like it would be in the physical plane, I do think that's reflected in the spiritual plane as well. So don't underestimate ancestor veneration. Don't push it aside. And again, it comes back to this whole like social media measuring each other's deities against each other, and
It's
who's
so
more
silly.
powerful.
It's so silly. And very just like childish.
It's incredibly childish. Do you have to have known your ancestors in the living or physical plane to venerate them?
This is a perfect question for me because I only knew of two of my ancestors that passed away that I knew of in this life. More have passed away since, but my father and my grandfather, and that was it. That was it. I had to go find them. I
Mm,
had to, and when I say I had to go find them, literally, I had to go do DNA ancestry. I had to go searching through newspaper articles, birth records, military records. You do have to do footwork. They see that you're doing footwork, though. They're just because you don't know them and you haven't seen them and you haven't met them doesn't mean that they're not there. It's the same thing that you don't see oxygen and yet you know it's there and you breathe it every
mhm,
day.
mhm.
It's still there. They're still there. And when you go searching for them, they will start coming to you in your dreams.
Yeah.
In your dreams, through meditation, through signs. Not everything is a synchronicity, but through certain signs, and you'll see it repeatedly over and over
Yeah.
and over again. I'm still, Rose knows this. I've been talking about it a lot. I've been now finding more and more and more of them as I'm uncovering my mother's side of the family lineage because we lost complete track of them because she was in foster care and her mother was in foster care, not documented. So there's no paper trail. I had to go search. I'm still having to go search.
It's work.
And I understand it. I understand the financial barricades that there are. I understand the like capacity. And I also understand kind of the trauma behind it and how sad it can
Mhm.
be because you're actively looking for them and you don't know where they are. Also, while we're on the topic of like, not everybody is a trickster.
The whole trickster
I'm so
spirits.
tired. I'm so tired of the trickster conversation. Oh, beware of those tricksters.
Yeah.
And even if it is a trickster and you gave that trickster a glass of water, just banish them. It's not
Yeah.
it's not that big of a don't be mad at me. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that crazy, y'all.
I think that too kind of goes back in a previous episode. I can't remember which one it was that we did talk about like the basics
Yeah.
that you should have mastered, right? Or you should try to master, banishment being one of them,
Mhm.
protection being another. And yes, there's going to be times where you do have to partake in banishment and okay,
Okay.
right? That's why you
Yeah.
learn that skill,
Mhm.
why you learn and have that tool in your practice. Yeah, I completely agree
Yeah.
with you. You do not need to have known an ancestor in the physical or the living in order to venerate them. I think that a lot of people get really uncomfortable
Mhm.
when we bring up the topic of doing like DNA, ancestral research records.
Mhm.
And while I understand that there's barriers, trust me, as somebody that's Melungeon, I am well aware that there's barriers to this type of research. It can be done. And it can be done pretty affordably if you're willing to put in the work.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that everybody needs to want to, but it can take years sometimes.
So I think I told y'all I got heavily into my ancestral practice 6 years ago. I'm still finding them. I'm still unlocking that. That's still, and it's such a joy for me at this point. Ancestor veneration, first and foremost, is just a joy for me, and being able to find them and venerate them
Yeah.
and hear that they've been with me all the time. They just weren't ready to come forward. They weren't
Mhm.
ready to come forward. And typically, it's almost like they're laughing at me. But it's almost like when you unlock a new level on a game
Mhm.
and you get these new prizes because you unlocked a new level of game. Your discernment is better. Your protection magic is better. This is better. Now that ancestor that is particularly good with protection magic shows themselves.
Yeah, that's a great point.
They start to come forward. Oh, you're ready now.
Mhm.
You weren't before, but I'm watching you and you're ready now. Hey, I'm here.
Mhm. And that's another good point is it's not like overnight. You're not just going to wake up one day and decide I'm going to venerate my ancestors and you're going to have thousands of ancestors come forward. That's not how it works in my experience.
No, not mine either.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes literal years
Hmm.
for people and for you to establish contact or a connection with certain ancestral spirits. So just keep that in mind. How do you connect with your ancestors that you don't know or didn't know in the living?
Okay, so I know I've recommended this book over and over and over again. It is a hoodoo book. So,
Mm.
It's a hoodoo book. However, it is a like guided meditation, not like guided like audio, but tells you how to do the meditation from start to finish of how to connect with ancestors that you don't know. It is through meditation.
Oh, cool.
And it doesn't take very long. It's kind of just imagining or seeing, if I can describe it very, very quickly,
Yeah.
like closing your eyes, imagining yourself, your own face, imagining your parents' face, your siblings' face, then your grandparents, if you know them, your grandparents. And then you start asking them to come forward.
Beautiful.
Can you show me yourself? Can you give me your name? Can I see you? And typically they will start coming forward. And the first meditation, you might only get a little bit of a face, or you might get a name. You might just randomly get a name. You might, I had a few that were ready to come forward. You might get the full shebang, the full head to toe, the name, because they want to be known. They're ready to be known. Don't second guess that, because they're probably going to look like you or one of your family members.
You'll know.
You'll know, and they'll know. To verify, ask them questions about your family. If you know that your family was from Arkansas, where's our family from? If they say Pennsylvania, it's a trickster.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point too. Is it's like there are ways to like vet tricksters. It's really, I think people overhype the whole trickster threat.
I joke all the time that I'm a trickster. Baby, my ancestors talking, baby. It's my grandma's literally talking. It's just a sleight of hand that I can hear. It's just a sleight of hand.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you a little of this when I'm doing a little of this. That's what a trickster is. Now, there are malicious tricksters. You will feel that.
Yeah.
When you invite something malicious into the rest of your people, the rest of your spirit team will freak out, and you'll feel that.
Yeah. Another question that kind of follows up on this that I do get asked a lot is, do you need to have protections established before you're trying to connect with ancestors? I'm curious what your opinion is on this.
If you have no connection to any ancestral spirits, period, yes, absolutely. Now, it's not controversial in my opinion. My protection are my ancestors.
Oh, yeah,
already.
100%.
They're the first front in line. With deities, too. You got to go through them first before you go through me at all. So now at this point, when new ancestors come forward, they're getting vetted by the rest of the team. They're doing the full, if you're a dog, sniff check. Let me look under your hat. You got that bald spot. Like, they're doing the full check.
Yeah, like that is protection.
That is protection. But if you have no barriers, yes, you absolutely need to have protection.
Yeah. So for somebody that's brand new to one, the practice, and two, ancestor veneration, and you're like literally starting from a clean slate, please do learn some things about protection and banishment. Okay. Especially if you don't have any ancestor veneration practices in place.
Right.
That would be my recommendation, because I do get questions about that quite a bit. Like, well, how do I start? What is it safe to start?
Also, go pick up the family album.
That's a great place to
go
start.
to Nana's house or Aunt whoever who has the 15 family albums that they've had for years and years, and just start flipping through it.
Yeah.
And just start. Speaking of which, one of my ancestors is my sister's. I have two half sisters. My sister's mother. She's not even my mother, but she's on my spirit team. And the only reason is because I was flipping through and she was like, oh, hey, I've been here. Just didn't know I was there as soon as I saw her picture. So it goes up on the ancestral altar too.
This begs the question, do you have to have a blood relation to an individual for them to be an ancestor? No, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's your answer.
That's it. Podcast ended.
Yeah, no, you don't. Now, what I don't want people to do is take this and say, oh, so that means that I, a white woman, can go practice hoodoo. No. That's not what I mean.
I made a video about this, and I left it in the drafts.
Oh.
Stop contacting Michael Jackson. Stop it.
What?
People are trying to mind you, that man, what I forgot what he was, like Jehovah's Witness? That's so rude and disrespectful of his practice. Like his religion, he doesn't want to be contacted. And what makes you think that if he. Okay.
Girl.
The difference between somebody like Michael Jackson and Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, if you are a hoodooist, you can absolutely contact her for something. That is a diasporic ancestor who was also a hoodooist. So it's fine. Leave the Jehovah's Witness alone. Let him rest.
I can't.
And also, once again, as Rose said, if you are a white person, if you are of the Caucasus, please leave Malcolm X and Martin Luther King
alone.
Leave them alone. You have your own diasporic ancestors. Call Abe Lincoln. Shit, he's on the fucking on dollar bill.
I saw a video of this girl being like, "Yeah, I really like to call on Queen Mary of Scots."
You know what? I love that.
No, like, period. Do it.
Period.
100%. You should do that. I want to see. You want to know what I want to see more of? I want to see more white people on the internet calling on these how would you say it? These royal ancestors. I think you should absolutely put.
Guess who has money?
Put them to work. Like,
guess who has money?
Queen Mary of Scots.
Queen Mary of Scots had some money.
Like we all have. The point is we all have something. You don't need to go and steal, which that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Okay, from a different community. Okay,
it's not more powerful or more. Now, I will add the caveat: the more you venerate certain ancestors, yes, they get stronger. They get stronger. They have farther reach. So somebody like an ancestor like Harriet Tubman, I'm just going to keep using Harriet Tubman.
It's a good example.
Has far reach. She's been venerated by hundreds and thousands of people. She has a very far reach. She's got a lot of juice behind her. Okay? She's got a big, powerful bank. Versus when you're first starting off with your ancestors, and especially if no one else in your family are venerating, they may just start with a small power bank. You can grow it.
Yeah, and you will over time if you're consistent. Yeah, I always remind people of like the observer effect. It's like, you know, whatever you're going to put energy towards, like especially in veneration, it will grow stronger. Oh, you're going to love this one.
Am I? Or am I going to hate it?
Actually so funny.
When Rose says that, I'm bracing myself for anything and everything.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your reaction. Oh. Can you do work against your own bloodline? Can you?
No. Okay.
Tell us more.
Okay, so if you are connected through your bloodline to somebody, doing work on them is doing work on yourself. You have that blood lineage connection. Also, I don't know if you agree with this, but I want to see the discourse that happens. I do not believe in cord cuttings with your own familial line. That's insane. You're literally severing the tie to them, but to whoever they're connected to as well. So it could have been grandpa who was an awful, terrible, maybe predatory person, but grandma is also connected to him, and so is your sister, and so is whoever, and you just cut yourself off to all of them because they're his offspring or they're his, whatever. You have to think about the ripple effect of what you're doing with everything, first of all, but particularly with your bloodline, because once you do it, it is so hard to correct it, and you're probably going to need outside help to correct it.
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't think that cord cuttings with family members really make any sense to me. I think that you'd be better off doing some type of like healing working.
Yeah.
Because it is your literal lineage. You have a blood tie to this person and to the rest of that lineage. And I think that, I'll use an example just from my indigenous background. I have ancestors. I've actually never shared this. I've never even spoken to Chloe about it. I have ancestors that have attempted to do um we don't call it cord cutting,
Mhm.
but soul cutting from a lineage, and it has caused severe damage and trauma. And a lot of it was due to wanting to feel disconnected because being native
Mhm.
back during the days of Indian boarding schools and all of that trauma was not a good thing
Right.
for a lot of people. And so they wanted to distance themselves. And sometimes people would attempt to do that spiritually as well. It has had lasting impacts on the entire bloodline and did need outside help to repair. Just remember that you're not only affecting yourself.
You're affecting your children. You're
Yeah.
affecting your siblings. You are
Hmm.
affecting. Also, by the way, remember that when you venerate, your whole family benefits.
Yeah.
So not only has my life gotten better, every person who's connected to me has their life has gotten better.
Period. Agreed.
And I'm the only person in my family who venerates.
Hmm.
I venerate a lot though. Y'all see the gifts I be giving them.
You're good at it.
I
I
like
make up for it.
I make up for it. But as Rose was saying, you cannot. It's like severing. It's severing the tie to the self.
Hmm.
In yes, that is a disgusting, yucky part potentially to of the self. Healing and not necessarily healing them because that might make you feel a little icky, especially if they were, very predatory or very evil. Healing the wound that they caused. Think of it more that way.
That's a good
You're
point.
healing the wound instead of because it's an open, oozing, whatever wound, but it's on your bloodline. So
Yeah.
healing the wound instead of thinking about healing them can absolutely help, can absolutely work. And you can also not just do that energetically, you can do that through physical action. So for instance, if you're part of Black family, you probably got your ass beat as a kid. Okay. A way that you can heal that wound is not putting your hands on your children.
Hmm.
Now they do not have to deal with that. You are healing it.
Yeah.
Curse breaking.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that because I think people automatically think like, oh, it has to be this ethereal, abstract, whimsical thing that's happening. And while it can be that, oftentimes it's very mundane.
Mhm.
Like, um, if you have a history of incarceration in your family, which I can speak for myself, okay? Um, not being incarcerated. Sorry.
No,
Like
no,
you know
for
what I
real
mean? Like
though.
actually, or just like acknowledging that there's multiple elements that have led to that. One being racism and oppression,
Mm-hmm.
two, because that's another factor. I'm not saying that all of the time that it was one dimensional, but recognizing those physical patterns in this physical world and ending them, yeah, it's a way of curse breaking, generational curse breaking,
Mm-hmm.
etc. But yeah, the whole cord cutting as a concept has kind of really just been commercialized and popularized, and I don't really know if a lot of people understand the concept of cord cutting, so I just encourage you to do more research.
I think it's because not a lot of people understand. We were talking about this earlier that
Yeah.
not a lot of people have a good, well rounded concept of how energy works
Mhm.
and the energetic ties between yourself to other people, yourself to physical material things, yourself to places.
Yeah.
Um, once you kind of like, like, oh, I completely forgot what it was. It was like cord cutting, your like some type of thing to money or something like that.
Mm.
You have to be so careful. You have to be,
That just, like, gave me
or
the chills, like, "What? Cord cutting people were cord cutting what?"
it was like money issues or money problems,
Ooh.
but you have to be, I would not tell that to a beginner.
No.
I barely would try to attempt that.
Yeah, you
Eh,
gotta be careful with that. Mm.
I would do healing work before I would do any type of cutting, snipping away, whatever. Like, why not put the antiseptic on the wound first before just chopping off the leg?
Treat the infection before amputation, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's a really good analogy. I actually like that a lot. I'm gonna remember
It's because
that.
I've been reading more.
Yeah. It's good
Read
for
your
our
books.
brains. Yes, read. Okay, is ancestor veneration for everybody? Can I answer?
Yes.
I think that it is for everybody. Mm. And sometimes people that's really difficult for people
Mhm.
because some people don't like the idea of connecting or venerating or even acknowledging their ancestors.
Mhm. Can I add?
Please.
It is for everyone, period. You have to be mature enough.
Mhm.
And when I say you have to be mature enough, I'm not talking about allowing someone who was extremely harmful or extremely hurtful or, whatever. All of the things that you can think of someone doing that are unforgivable.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. If we are talking about people being racist, bigoted, homophobic, exclusionary, ABC 123, guess what they all were? Even black and homophobic. Some of them beat the crap out of their wives. And you didn't even know. You didn't even know grandma had to stay with him because grandma didn't have a way to get out.
Yeah.
And guess what? Like, he's still seen as a good guy, or seen as, the times have changed, but the times back then were different. And it is not meaning that that is an excuse. It is an understanding of the times that they lived in and what it was like to live back then. So you need to be mature enough to understand that. And also, your ancestors are not stupid. They're
Yeah.
not just these one dimensional beings that they died that way. They're going to stay like that forever. You can teach them.
Mhm.
I had to explain to one of my ancestors that being queer wasn't going to be detrimental to my life. She really, because she's from the 1920s. If you were queer in the 1920s, you were a pariah. Like,
Yeah.
you basically were denied housing. You couldn't get a job. You couldn't, like, you were not going to have any kind of life. Period. Point blank. She was concerned about that. As soon as I can do, oh,
Things are
okay.
different.
Things are different now. They're different, and they can learn and they can understand. Should I just get into the controversial?
Yeah, let's go there.
Okay, so we're just gonna get there. White people, I love y'all. The same way that a lot of you try to skirt out of addressing
Mm.
racism, the way that you perpetuate racism today is what you're doing by choosing not to venerate, address, elevate, heal your racist ancestors. You're deciding to just put it behind a closed door and shut it instead of opening it up and addressing all of the things that they did. And yeah, it was racist, addressing all the things and going over why that's not okay. And then when they're elevated enough, sending them out to go do work to help those marginalized communities.
Yeah.
You can do that. You have, like, when I think, it makes me so hot, like my spirits are
Yeah.
here. Like, it
Yeah.
makes me so hot and so upset because it's like you have so much power. If every white person decided to really venerate their ancestors and address
The
not only
work.
their inner racism, because guess what? Everyone is an ism. Everyone
Yeah.
has some type of prejudice, myself included. Okay. If you decide to address it, do you know the good that would be done for the world? Period. Point blank. It just,
Yeah. I I'm I completely agree with you, and to take this further, and this is going to make people mad, and I am just at the point where I'm sick of filtering it. Mixed people, okay? Um just because you have 5% African ancestry does not mean that you can just ignore that there is that colonizer influence and you do have ancestors that did commit and perpetuate that harm. I'm not saying that those African ancestors you have were perfect, but choosing to only grab on to that part and ignore the rest, I really think is irresponsible. And I think that we see a lot of this colonizer mindset perpetuated in the spiritual communities because people are refusing to do the work.
they're refusing to. We've mentioned this before. Sorry, we mentioned this in the last podcast and in the first podcast as well. A lot of you are lazy, and you don't want to feel pain,
Mm.
and you don't want to feel hurt,
Or
and you don't,
discomfort.
or discomfort, or just being uneasy, or being. I'll use myself as an example. My my grandmother's mother was a whole bunch of things happened to her. She's a child. She's 13. But back in the day, in the 1920s, 1930s, they were having babies at 12 and 13. To be addressed with what she looks like, which is mangled. She looks just mangled in the face, like completely. She looks as she died. That's painful. It's painful. It's traumatic. And a lot of the time they will show you how they died when you get enough of a relationship with them. But that means that she's healing and she's a part of the team now and she's being taken care of.
Yeah.
I'm being taken care of as well because I found her. I made a missing link. You're going to benefit from it. It's like when you run, I fucking hate running. All I can think about is how I can't breathe and I'm sweating and I'm itchy and I hate it. But I also know that if I want the end goal of being healthier, being more fit, I have to go through the discomfort. If I want to be more spiritually gifted, if I want to elevate and venerate and bring my bloodline to an elevated place, I'm going to have to go through the uncomfortable crap.
Yeah.
You have to go through the mud. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I think that, I know we've said this so many times, but I do think that social media is partly responsible for only showing people the pretty, happy, joyful parts. Because I don't care what anyone says. Any well-rounded spiritual practice, whether that's organized religion all the way to folk practice and everywhere in between, there are going to be uncomfortable parts. There are going to be painful parts. There's going to be happy moments. That's the human experience. And until we all come to terms with that, I don't think we're going to get anywhere.
I think that's also why y'all feel more comfortable connecting to deities rather than ancestors, because the ancestor experience is distinctly human and flawed. And like there's so many emotions attached to it and there's so much trauma attached to it. And deities are these like floaty beings in the sky who don't have like normal people feelings because they're deities. Like
pain and suffering and embarrassment and trauma and not
prejudices
saying, prejudices. Yeah. Imperfections. Yeah. I think, and even sometimes we'll see deities that historically do have imperfections be turned into a version that they're not, but that's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other topic. We'll talk about that on a different podcast because we got plenty to say on that too.
Can ancestors disagree with you, your spiritual practice, or the spirits and deities you work with?
I'm going to let you answer first.
Yes. And in my experience, they often do.
Often.
Yeah. So just one example from my experience, I have a lot of devout Catholic ancestors that have a lot of opinions. Now, much like in the physical plane, you might have friends, coworkers, family that have opinions about what you're doing. Been there, right?
Been there.
It's much like that in the spiritual realm in my experience, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do what they're telling you, but oftentimes, for instance, and I've talked about this, I think, in the Spell Oil podcast, where, if I'm practicing folk Catholicism and I'm venerating my ancestors and they're helping me with things, and then I go, I think I want to summon demons. They're going to say,
bitch, what?
No, the hell you're not.
No, the hell you're not. You need to go sit your little ass down. You need to go sit down and take a nap.
Absolutely not. You need to pray that rosary, ma'am.
You need to pray, get on that rosary quickly,
pronto, right now.
Quick.
So I think that, they're going to disagree with things that you do. And in my opinion, if you are going to practice like a certain folk practice that does rely heavily on ancestor veneration, specifically a specific group of ancestors that maybe had certain beliefs, when you're practicing that specific practice, I can't bring demons into a rosary working. It's just not going to happen for me. Nobody's going to show up to the party. There we go.
Yeah, they're not going to show up. They're not going to show up. Also controversial. Some of my ancestors refuse to work with certain other ancestors.
Oh, yeah.
They don't like each other. Just like at the family
reunion.
they don't like each other. They're not sitting at the same table. They're still at the same family reunion. They're just not sitting at the same table. They're not going to be in the same working. Because I have respect for them, so they're not going to be in the same working. Now, there are some parts where you can tell them, no, you go sit down, because this is for the betterment of our lineage, or this is for the betterment. You also have to understand this is where building a relationship with certain ancestors is very important. I have a lot of like very strict Baptist root working ancestors. They only want me to do root work. And I understand that. I understand that. I can't ignore the rest of my lineage. It would be bad for the rest of my bloodline to ignore the rest of my lineage. However, I do respect them that I only work with them when I'm doing root work. They are only invited to the party when I'm doing root work. But I have to take into consideration that there are a lot of fears that they have in the era that they lived in, the 1800s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of, don't be too loud. Don't be too bright. Don't be too, because that's going to get you hurt. That's going to get you sought out after. Because in their time frame, that absolutely did get them, like, if they were too bright, too shiny, too whatever, that was going to get them hunted down.
It was a death sentence.
It was a death sentence. So once again, it's the understanding of like, hey, I understand that this is your fear. We don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and do it. But like Rose was saying, I ain't working with no demons. That would be like, no one is showing up to the party except for maybe the demon. And even the demon is going to be like, why am I here? Why am I here? Like,
and to be clear, this is no disrespect towards people that venerate or worship infernals or work with them. It's not my practice. I am well aware. I
respect it. Yeah, I respect it. And listen, me and Rose are both like, because there are certain people I'm not messing with. Those are the certain people. If you work with infernals,
respect.
I'm not
going there.
I'm not going there. I'm not messing with you. Like the
Yeah, I think too, this kind of brings up the topic of like, not everybody's gonna do everything.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's all right. And you can still support people who do work with infernals. For instance, if you are a hoodooist and your people are like, no, you can't partake in any of that.
Yeah.
You can still support people who do work with infernals by reposting their videos, liking their stuff, commenting, recommending their stuff to other people. You can still do that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really good creators that share in educational content that I personally follow, and I'm very interested. It's not my practice. I'm not going to go there, but I'm interested and respect it. And we just kind of need to adopt that mindset.
Yeah.
In general. What are some common mistakes people make when they first begin ancestor work? Especially things social media tends to oversimplify. We briefly touched on this.
We've touched on this. And I think we touched on this also in the first podcast. Ancestors are not a monolith, just like spirits are not a monolith. You can't treat them all the same. It's like if you're not going to treat every person at the family reunion the same. You're going to treat them differently. You're going to give them different offerings. You're going to the conversations that you're going to have with them are different. If I have a child spirit, I'm not going to talk to the child spirit about getting me a job.
That's so real.
Like, I'm not going to talk to the child spirit about getting me a job. Now, I am going to go talk to my father, who always had a job, even though he didn't have he only went to middle school. I don't know how that man had a job.
Resourceful.
Always resourceful. I'm going to go to him. Okay. Also, since we're already here, if you are lost, meaning like lost, like I don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm good at. What were your people good at? And I'm not talking about work, because we always focus so heavily on spirituality. But like I was saying, if Aunt Susie was the spotlight of the church and the entertainer, you might be really, really good at visibility magic. You might be good at fame work. You might be good at whatever. If, for instance, my lineage, lots of people who served in the military, world wars, several of them. A lot of us have been first responders. Protective magic, it's my thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's my thing. So I know that I'm really good at that because they're good at that.
No, that's a great example. And then, on the other side of it, we talked about heavy hitters.
The criminals.
The criminals, y'all might not like to hear this, but some of my best-selling oils
Are made with them.
are made with my criminal ancestors. I'm gonna get canceled.
Walk with me. A lot of you love Walk with Me.
Yeah, it's so good.
And that's made with Ray Ray in them. That's made with Ray Ray in them. Okay, that's made with the people who always had a little piece on them. You know, like I had several ancestors that I knew who went to jail, who were into squabbles, who, this is also controversial, but like drug dealers, they gonna get you some money.
Look,
someone owes you money?
Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, there's a few that it's, you know, and it can be multifaceted. And I just think that to have the sanitized view of ancestor veneration can be really harmful. It is very puritanical.
I'm concerned about the rise in the younger audiences of the kind of the puritanical clinical innocence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like woke to the point of erasure, or it just like, okay, it can only be this way, and if it's not this way, it's bad.
Yeah, precisely. And
there's no nuance.
There is zero nuance. And I think that, you know, when we're watching 30 to 60-second clips on TikTok or Instagram Reels, it's almost like people's brains can't process a large amount of information. And I'm not saying that this is just y'all's problem. Like, I even have to check myself. Mm-hmm. Okay, if I want to learn more about a topic, I will not only learn it from TikTok. We've said this so many times. I literally think we talk about this in every podcast.
We do talk about it in every single podcast. You guys, you can remold. When I say remold, I mean like right now our brains are really, really kind of latched onto quick, very, very quick. I need to be entertained. You can train your brain for longer form content.
You can.
By literally forcing yourself, okay, start with something small. It's a 10-minute video. Watch the whole thing through without pausing it, looking at something else, doing something. Watch the whole thing. And then do that for a week, move on to 20-minute content. Read a full chapter, read 2 full chapters without picking up your phone. Mm-hmm. Like, you can remold your brain to getting adapted to stay focused on long form content, and it will be good for you, I promise. Also, you need to get it is them phones.
Yeah,
you need to get off the phone.
Yeah, I actually am. Never mind. That's not relevant. I'm going to purchase that brick thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know what it does. All I know is I need it because apparently it's going to help me not be on my phone as much. So
lock timer break.
Oh, this is great. How do you set up an ancestral altar?
There are, God, you can. I'll go with the smallest that I've ever used. I had a locket. That I wore every day, and I would speak to the locket. That was my little ancestral altar at the time when my mom wasn't deconstructed and she was not going to allow it in her house. Okay.
Yeah, it can be so simple.
It can be so simple, because I know there is a lot of you do not have the freedom to openly practice, and I completely understand that. Having a picture, and when you go to bed or when you want to talk to them, pull the picture out. Put out a little water.
And this might just be certain cultures, so I don't want to generalize because I genuinely don't know. So feel free to correct me. Almost every single family member of mine, we've had like a corner of the house where there's a whole bunch of pictures of ancestors. That's an altar. So if you have, you know, like your grandma had like a wall or a corner dedicated to pictures of a whole bunch of people you're related to,
that's an altar.
There
Even
you go.
if they don't. So remember, we talked about this in the first podcast. A lot of you are practicing and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
A lot of you are practicing, or a lot of your family is doing veneration like practices. Yeah. And you don't even know it. In a lot of Black households, you will have a table with a beautiful lace cloth or white cloth with all of the ancestors on it. And usually there's a candle. Sometimes it's a scented candle. And like, maybe sometimes water, sometimes, not all the time, but there will always be a Bible.
100%.
There will 100%. Always be a Bible. And sometimes there's flowers, or sometimes they'll put, I've even, so funny, I remember like a meal. we were not hoodooists. Like, it
No,
was a
it's just
meal.
so normal.
It was just normal. It was a normal thing that you did.
Glass of water, King
Mhm.
James, a little bit of dinner.
A little bit of dinner. And if they were like, whew, I'm just feeling so heavy, I'm gonna go to Psalm 91. Flip the and then they would read the whole thing in front of the altar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've had like straight up had family say to me like, "Oh, I don't do all that." And they're like writing psalms on the bottom of their shoes on the soles, You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
Sticking them in. And I'm
Having
like, "Oh,
having certain psalms engraved onto the church shoes.
that's right." New build house
Mm-hmm.
in the walls.
In the walls, etched onto the onto all the exits.
Yep.
Particularly Psalm 91 onto
On
all the exits.
Wow. Bonding.
Bonding. We are so convinced that we share ancestors.
Yeah.
It's a little,
I'm pretty sure.
we just don't have the DNA to prove it.
Yeah, we don't have the DNA. Maybe someday it'll
Maybe
be advanced
someday.
enough to where it'll match us.
Or it just could be that our ancestors like each other so much that now her ancestors are mine are hers.
Mm-hmm.
That happens.
It feels that way.
And when you get married also.
Tell me about it. we should do an entire episode on that.
We got to bring our partners in one day.
I think that would be hilarious.
They'd be so awkward.
That'd be so funny.
It would be hilarious.
We have to do it. Okay.
They would hate that.
Yeah, it'd take some convincing, but
and like some whiskey.
Yeah.
They'd be good.
Yeah.
With the whiskey.
We could do it. We could do it.
What is an appropriate offering to give your ancestors? And how do you differentiate what is appropriate depending on the ancestor you're giving it to?
Okay. So I think this is a really complicated question because it really depends on the ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, my ancestors will straight up say what they want.
Mm-hmm. Mine too.
I want. This is like a recent request. Okay. For some reason, this particular ancestor really likes Jack Daniels, right? A specific year and make. Okay. Some cornbread and beans.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
like
is
a regular staple.
That is a frequent ask in my stewed beans.
Stewed
beans.
Specifically.
We sure it's not that same ancestor because it's specifically stewed beans. And if I can get buttered cabbage in the mix or collard greens,
we're gonna have to talk after this.
that is a staple. That is a staple for them. They love that.
Yeah. And sometimes like I'll be in the kitchen just to remind everybody, if you don't know, I don't cook. Okay, so this is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
I am going through steps researching, calling grandma, calling mom, how do I do this? And that alone has helped me feel more connected.
I love that.
I would cook with my grandma growing up, but I'm just not that good at it, to be completely transparent. So it's just not one of my skills. And so it could be something as specific as that. In my experience, depending on how clear of a connection you have, it can be that specific. It also could be something as simple as spending time with family.
Mm-hmm.
I told Chloe, like, I bought my mom a purse.
That is ancestor veneration.
Yeah, and I've been treating my parents more to things, and my family that's alive, my grandma, taking her out to do things and spoiling her with things. That's a really big part of my offerings to my ancestor and to my bloodline. So I think sometimes people think it's like this tangible thing that you're putting on an altar, and that's not always the case.
It's also experiences. You can also use experiences as your offering. Y'all know I be out. I be outside, okay? I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going everywhere. Mainly, A, because I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
B, because they also really enjoy it. And they like seeing me happy, one, but they're coming with me. Coming with me. They get to experience it because they didn't get to experience it. They didn't get to experience, for the women, a massage.
Yeah.
Having their hair done, eyelashes.
Yeah.
I always devote. So like when I go to like get my eyelashes done or I'm going to get a facial, I literally will just speak out loud. I'm devoting this to blah blah blah, and she experiences it with me, or they experience it with me. If you have child spirits like I do, candy, load. Don't give them too much though. Give them like a pack of like jelly beans or something. They love that. Um, it can also be like fresh vegetables
Yeah.
picked. Like if you have like a fresh farm and your ancestors were farmers, go pick something. Doing an action like going, if you have root workers in your lineage, go work the land. Go work it. And when I say go work it, go volunteer on a farm for a day. They are going to be so freaking giddy that you decided to go and do that and experience something that they experienced. Because a lot of them were sharecroppers after and grew their own produce. So that I feel like can also be
It's a great example. There's so many different things that you can do is kind of the point I think that we're trying to make. And it depends on the ancestor. I do think, however, and some people might get on me about this, I do think there are wrong offerings for certain ancestors. You know, kind of like we spoke about if you if you, for instance, I do have some ancestors that have suffered from severe and persistent mental illness and alcoholism at the same
I'm
time.
not going to give them that.
So yeah, I'm not going to pour up a Jack Daniels for my ancestor that was quite literally, real story, institutionalized and tortured in the mental health system because she did have a problem with her alcohol consumption. That would not be a good offering.
That would not be a good. They need to be appropriate for the ancestor and sit and wait for as long as you need to. You could do tarot if you need to do tarot. You can listen. Rose and I are claircognizant and clairaudient, so we just hear them. But sit with it as long as you do. Even asking them at the altar and then going about your day, they will eventually give you the answer of what they're wanting. And if what they're wanting is a request that is ill-advised, like once again, she's not giving alcohol to that answer. I'm not giving it alcohol to a child.
Great point.
I'm not giving alcohol to a child. And
no, thank you.
I'm not doing those kind of things. Okay. What is always like safe? Water. And the way that I know they want more is I'll walk up to the altar and I will feel parched.
Oh, that's yeah, parched. Or if you just have a feeling sometimes, you know, if you're not able to hear it.
Milk is great as an offering. Milk and honey.
I was about to say milk and honey. That's a good one right there. Yeah, water, milk and honey. Sometimes like certain spices I'll get requests for.
Certain spices, a rare herb that they might have used. Tea.
Coffee.
Yeah, one of my ancestors really, really likes, when I can find it, I can't find it that often, horehound candy. That's old school.
It is.
Ask your grandmama about it.
That is old school.
That is old school.
Yeah.
He really likes horehound candy. And
I love that. That's so really cool. Hard to find, I'm sure.
Hard to find.
Yeah.
Because he wants like the artisanal.
The real deal.
Yeah.
Amazing. What role does divination play in ancestor work, and when should you use it?
I feel like y'all should know the answer to this. You need to be divining. Period. Also, discernment is a way to divine. Like,
yeah, let's talk about that, because not all when people think of divination,
they always assume tarot or the pendulum,
oracle,
or Ouija board, or some type of like, girl.
I just pictured us trying to communicate with our ancestors with a Ouija board.
They'd be so mad.
They'd be so upset.
They'd be like, "What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?"
So funny.
It took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out that this is really controversial. I barely use my tarot cards, y'all. Me either. I barely use them. I have a rudimentary understanding of tarot cards. I don't need them. I don't. Because I'm clairaudient and claircognizant.
Yeah.
So they just talk to me. And I can hear the differentiate between the voices. I know who's talking.
Yeah.
or they show me their face, or whatever the case might be. That is how I divine. Literally asking them the question, hey,
Yeah.
what is this? What is this thing? You do need to be divining for ancestral practice. Because you need to be asking them what they want. You need to be talking to them about, why are you here? Why are you here besides, like, are you just hanging around? Do you want to help?
Yeah.
Do you want to help? Do most of them do want most of them want a job.
Yeah.
Do you want to help me with this? Do you want to, whatever? And I understand that, like, for ancestral veneration, or like, people often think of, like, oh, well, like spiritual work.
Yeah.
You can ask your ancestors to help you be more happy,
Yeah.
embody more childlike joy, um, heal your wounds around attachment, or around certain attachments, certain scarcity mindsets, certain blah, 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 blah. They can help with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like emotional healing that can happen that I do think people don't often think about.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, that's not something that they can help me with.
It is 100% something
Hmm.
that, and if they particularly themselves have that wound, you can work together, because you're conjuring in conjunction with,
Yeah. In conjunction with, in collaboration
in
with.
collaboration with.
Yeah. I think too, sometimes people see a lot of types of veneration as a transaction.
Yes.
And so I really like the word collaboration
Collaboration. Yeah.
because, in my opinion, it really is this like communion and collaboration between us and ancestors instead of, okay, here's this offering, do this thing. Now, it can be that
It can
sometimes.
be that way, but I feel like that takes the joy out of it.
Yeah, it does.
That takes the joy and the fun out of it. You need to look at it as, like, community.
Hmm.
You're a part of this community, and you all benefit each other, and you're all working towards this higher purpose, potentially.
Yeah.
Or you're just, okay, this is getting more philosophical, y'all. I know everybody kind of has that thing in their head of, like, well, why am I here? What is the purpose of life? And everyone, I feel like, is very, very goal oriented. I'm doing this to get this. The whole reasoning of life is just life itself.
Yeah.
It's to feel all the emotions. It's to go through the human experience. It's to feel all the beautiful things, smell the roses, taste the food, have
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
Those type of things. The whole point of life is the life itself. And when you really deepen your ancestral practice, you get to feel more lives than just your own.
That's beautiful.
And
Yeah.
that, I'm like, that just feel full tingles.
Yeah.
They're excited. They're excited to experience your life with you.
Yeah.
So that's why it makes me so sad that so many people aren't doing that. Also, can we please, we talked about this.
What?
We talked about this earlier. I think the thought process of choosing not to venerate any of your ancestors because of the actions that you know of, or the assumption that you have of several ancestors, is silly and childish and immature. What if you're dead and you want to be venerated, and your lineage decides not to venerate you, period, because this one person in your line was awful? You're not awful. You never were awful. You want to help, but they're refusing to venerate you because of this one. It doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
I'm asking y'all, please dig deeper. Ask the ones who are kind and gentle and whatever to come forward. They will.
They will. Yeah, I think too that I agree with Chloe. I think it's childish. Sorry, I really do. I think it's really immature to basically say, I don't want anything to do with all of you.
There are thousands, by the way.
Yeah, like, don't think of your ancestors as just like 6 generations back. I mean, as far back as you can possibly imagine, and then some.
And then
right?
some.
And so it's a little strange to me. Now, while I understand why some people do it and have this mindset because of trauma, which is totally understandable, I think that's part of the work.
That's part of the work too.
Yeah, is working through that trauma, and you will be surprised how much healing can come just from acknowledging that, yes, this is nuanced. I had ancestors that did things during their life that I disagree with. I also have ancestors that I really admire, right? And that can coexist together. And even a little bit more controversial, you can have an ancestor that did both in their same lifetime, in their lifetime. I know myself, I have grown and learned from so many experiences and have done things I'm not proud of. Does that mean that I'm
your
going to.
entire life means that
Right.
everything good that she's done is now moot? Like,
Yeah.
and once again, caveating, because I know y'all are gonna, someone is gonna, I am not talking about the unforgivable things.
Right.
We are not talking about the unforgivable things.
No.
We're talking about, think of the times like racism
Mhm.
and homophobia and exclusionary behaviors. Okay. Even some abusive behaviors like spanking your children, putting hands on your wife.
Yeah.
Like, it was very commonplace.
Mhm.
It is not excusable. However, it is an understanding that this ancestor might have done that. We are we are not excluding them.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that we're accepting the behavior
No.
or, like Chloe said, we're not excusing it, but we do need, y'all, we need to accept that it happened.
It happened. You can't just because you're choosing not to venerate doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It still happened, and now you're almost it's cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Mhm.
You're not doing yourself any good either.
No.
Why not teach him why it's bad, why it was a bad decision to do that?
Yeah.
It was more commonplace than y'all are realizing. A lot of the people who were in the church, pastors, whoever, the good ones, were beating the hell out of their wives.
Yeah.
Like, and their children, and stepping out on them, and being dogs.
Mhm.
Sorry, that's just the men. The women, same thing too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to poke on y'all.
It's true though.
But like women beating the kids, maybe maybe if they were being homophobic or like just
narcissistic,
neglecting them. Now, y'all are gonna do whatever you want to do. This is just, we're talking about this because this is our podcast, first of all. But
Yeah, it is our podcast.
And we're talking about folk practices.
Yeah.
And we do not think that you can have a folk practice without your ancestors.
Period. And we get this question a lot. I just don't think it's possible. In my personal opinion, I don't think that it's kind of like, I don't know what a good analogy would be. You're the one with the good analogies. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And because for myself, I was not like classically taught, and I was not taught growing up. However, guess who taught me everything that I know? Not from a book, not from whatever they did. They did. They gave me the blueprint, the full blueprint, without any clauses, without anything that I needed to do. They gave me this is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you get what you want.
Yeah, that's the practice. Comes from them. It ends with them. Remember,
you'll be a part of it.
You will be an ancestor.
I cannot wait. Can we ask a silly question? What offerings would you want?
What offerings would I want? I'll tell you exactly what I want. Okay? More Louise Carmen journals. I'm absolutely obsessed. I'm going to be an expensive ancestor.
I am going to be so bougie.
Mm-hmm. Next thing is going to be a churro sundae, because I just had one of those a couple days ago.
That sounds amazing.
I fell in love.
That sounds amazing.
Specifically with chocolate ice cream. And a good salmon roll. I could go on and on. It's all food right now because I'm so pregnant. Like, all I think about is food. And journals. What about you, Chloe? What would be your offerings?
A 5-pound bag of crawfish.
Oh, yeah.
Spicy.
Super spicy.
It's got to be super spicy. A good Chianti.
You're killing me.
A good Chianti. Any niche perfume.
Oh, why? How could I have forgotten that?
Right. Any niche perfume, jewelry, and if you were one of my ancestral. You going and taking care of yourself.
Mm,
You could give me that as an offering any day
yeah.
of the week.
Yeah. I
Also
agree.
an Olipop.
Olipops are so good. Underrated.
The cream soda Olipop specifically.
Please sponsor us.
I will drink that. I'll drink 4 of
Right
them
here.
per episode.
I do feel like, though, that we've gotten feedback since we've started the podcast, and let me know if you disagree with me, that people kind of crave the realness and the lack of sugarcoating.
Yeah.
That's definitely a comment that we've gotten, is like, please don't ever start sugarcoating the information, because, you know, when it comes to topics like this, there is a lot of conflicting information going around.
Right. Also, y'all, please look at everything that we're saying with nuance.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is so nuanced. Do not, I swear to God, do not bean soup this.
Yeah, if
I will come after you.
Mhm.
Don't bean soup any of what we're saying. If you cannot like whatever, and you don't have to.
Yeah, you have free will.
You have free will. Don't bean soup it, okay? Please.
Bean soup has been our turn this week. Yeah, I think too, that's a good point. Like, as a disclaimer, obviously Chloe and I are folk practitioners primarily. And so also there's the concept that you don't have to be a folk practitioner.
No, you don't.
If this doesn't resonate with you, right? Or even if you're just interested in like learning, please know we're not telling you have to agree with us, that you have to do what
or that you have to dive full body into the pool. Maybe put one foot in.
Yeah.
See if you like it.
Mm-hmm.
See if you like it. See if maybe you don't even want to go full in. You just want to put a picture up.
So, yeah, my other piece of advice for somebody that's starting ancestor veneration would be to start slow. Because trust me, I am definitely someone that understands going down rabbit holes and becoming hyper fixated on things. Trust me.
Hundreds on journaling.
Literally. I just went down the journaling rabbit hole, so I get it.
Same.
I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, but I am going to tell you my advice is just don't go too crazy, okay? Please have a life outside of spirituality and your spiritual practice. We've spoken about this before too. Grounding is incredibly important. If you are spending literally 24/7 obsessed sitting at your ancestor altar, you guys, we got a problem.
Also, if you are feeling really spiritually ungrounded, it's a controversial take 97. Yeah. Connect with your ancestors who are in the literal ground. They're in the ground. They will root you to the ground. Yeah. They fully will. Yeah. They will bring your ass back to reality so fast. Like whiplash.
That's a really good point.
So fast. Because I ask them frequently, hey, am I really hearing this or am I going whatever? And they'll give me the signs that I need to have. No, you're fine. You're fine. Also, living ancestors, your friends, check in with them if you are ungrounded.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, I would say that it goes like this. First of all, you should be practicing grounding, period.
Period, point blank.
And then after that, connect with, if it's safe for you to do so, connect with family, friends, and people that you care about in the living. Then dive into veneration of people that are not alive.
Yeah. Working with the dead is a lot, y'all. And I think that we often give these beautiful flowery words, veneration and elevation and ancestors and the altar. You're working with the dead.
Dead people. It's true. Which I mean, recipes.
Which I mean, it's a form of like necromancy. It's a form of necromancy. I know everyone's like, necromancy, but that's what we're doing. You're doing necromancy. You're working primarily with the dead as a folk practitioner. Yeah. And deities and that type of thing. Like, you're working with the dead. And also understanding you don't have to hop to every time they ask for something. They're dead. They have no concept of like really any more sleep or like, or like whatever, or time.
Time is
we could get into a complete podcast around the energy around time.
Because
you can't manipulate stupid.
Yeah.
But they have no concept around that. They understand that they're dead and you're not.
Yeah.
Okay. If they asked, hey, my answer is like a fried chicken plate from Gus's. We want a fried chicken plate. Okay, they don't mean right now. They mean like on the offering day. Or if I miss the offering day, they don't really care that much. They might grumble about it, like, where the fuck is my chicken? But
Yeah.
like, I'll get it to them when I get it to them. They know it's coming. They know it's coming. It is not, do not make the practice into like this very like strict restricted religion kind of like where it's very
Yeah.
like
Rigid.
rigid or you're gonna be or the consequences
Yeah.
that it's not like that.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, if you know that you're prone to rumination, perseveration, anxiety, especially if you struggle with obsessive compulsive ruminations, or you might even have OCD, please be mindful of that when you're starting any type of spiritual practice so that you can identify if you start to engage in some behaviors that might be interfering with your ability to stay happy while doing this practice.
Mhm.
So if you start to experience those things, just be mindful of that. Because I myself am prone to rumination. And so I'll just use myself as an example. If I have this feeling or thought or hear that an ancestor wants something and it's 2 a.m., I'm like, cool, it can go in the notebook. Okay, I'm gonna tackle that tomorrow.
Mhm.
Much like you would anything else in
Much
life.
like you would anything else in life, and y'all journaling your ancestral thoughts. I have a journal literally just dedicated to their little blurbs that they
I'm gonna
like
start
blah
doing
blah blah
that.
blah blah that they tell me, and if I hear one over and over and over, I know they want it.
Hmm.
Or if I hear something over and over and over, um not persisting
Right.
like ruminating thoughts, but throughout the days, throughout the week. I'm like, okay, what do y'all have to tell me today? Da, 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 da. Okay, cool, cool, cool. If I'm noticing that I'm hearing but, I might check myself, like Rose was saying. I might check myself and be like, is this real? Am I feeling a lot of anxiety around this? Like one thought that, like, if I don't do this, I'm going to be punished or there are going to be some type of consequences given. Then I probably know it's not coming from them. It's some ruminating thought.
Yeah.
It's my own kind of like thing, which if you have anxiety
Totally
is
reasonable.
totally reasonable.
And probably, I mean, I deal with that. But you have to be able to tell the difference.
And that's where your discernment comes in.
Yeah, discernment is key.
And that's a practice. So just like people practice medicine, this is a practice.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna not fail. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna give a trickster an offering. You're gonna like accidentally give one ancestor the wrong offering. You know how you can tell they don't want it? It molds.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like maybe we should talk about what an accepted offering
Yeah.
looks like versus
Something that's not accepted. Yeah. So what does it look like when an offering is accepted? For me, I'll just speak on my experience. Like sometimes it will be preserved for a ridiculous amount of time. I'm like, how does that still look like that? How is it not molded?
How is it not molded?
Yeah. And sometimes I'll just know,
Mhm.
but I know that's not.
That's not always the case, and we understand that. That comes with time with the practice and time spent with your ancestors. For me, an acceptance once again looks like incredible preservation.
Yeah.
Like I get them artisanal mini cakes.
Yeah.
Those things could stay up there for 3 weeks
That's
and
how
would
you know.
never mold.
That's
And
how
it
you
would
know.
never mold. And it's not like one of those cakes that's like weird buttercream where it'll preserve itself. It should melt. It should melt. It should fall apart. Never does. The if it's not accepted, it molds. It gets extremely cloudy. It
Yeah.
or if it caught something nasty. Your ancestral gifts can catch nasty energy for you.
Yeah.
Water, whiskey particularly.
If you listen to me right now, if you find something especially nasty in your whiskey, something's up.
Yeah.
Like, hands down. Like,
Hands
that's a
down.
sign.
That's a sign. That's a sign that somebody threw something nasty your
Mhm.
way and it caught it.
Mhm.
Like that. And thank y'all. Let me pour you a new drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me pour you a new drink. Um, yeah, but there have been I've left full plates of food, and y'all, it's the South,
Yeah.
so bugs aplenty, even in the house because it's the South, and no bugs, completely dried up, no mold. That's how you know they accepted it.
Yeah. That's a, "Oh, yeah, we like this."
Oh yeah, we like this.
Mhm. Don't overthink it.
Mm-mm.
Like, don't sit there analyzing the offering, like, and if you don't know, that's also okay when you're first starting.
Yeah.
You're gonna, like Chloe said, people make mistakes. Maybe we're not gonna give the right offering. Know that much like we as people can appreciate people's effort, I do believe that ancestors can appreciate our efforts.
Oh,
And it means so much to them.
effort goes like 90% of the way, y'all.
Mhm.
Also, you trying to find them, they're so honored.
Yeah.
They're so honored that you're trying to find them or trying to like locate them or learn more about them.
Doing the research.
Doing the research, going and having a cultural experience that was there. Like, I love that.
Yeah, and I think that just if you're gonna start anywhere, start with researching.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to learn more.
That's also seen as effort.
Mhm. And also will give you a place to start. So especially, I've had people come to me saying, "I don't actually know anything,"
Mhm.
or I've had some people that are adopted. And I have said if it feels good to you and you feel safe to do so, I would maybe try to explore your ancestral records or through DNA
Mhm.
with matches because you can get a lot of information that way. And I think that's a really good place to start for people that don't have a lot of information.
That's where I started. And I started so much to the point that I was able to track down the grave site of several of
Isn't
my
that
ancestors.
incredible?
And that's what I was doing in New Orleans because I was able to go find them.
It's amazing.
That was an incredibly intense experience. And sometime okay. So usually you won't have a huge influx. If you go to a gravesite and find them, you are gonna have a huge influx of that side of the family.
Agreed. Mm.
Coming like, oh, you found us. We're here. Hi.
Yeah, because it's like that combination of the physical and the spiritual, like merging
Mm-hmm.
that physical location and then also the spiritual energy around it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, can be very overwhelming. Keep grounding, you guys.
Keep grounding.
Do ancestors automatically have access to you just because you share blood with them? That's
Hmm.
a hard question.
It's a hard question.
I
Okay. If they knew you in the living, um, if they knew you in the living, they have more of a chance of access to you than
Mm,
if they had no connection to you at all. So like if you had like a racist ancestor back in the day who you never met, who's like generations away, they know.
sure.
Like you could be like, get gone, get out of here. You need to
Yeah.
leave. Versus like your pop who knew you, who raised you, who was like whatever. Yeah, he gonna be
Mhm.
there.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it depends.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think we always have the ability to not really want to like engage in direct contact with
Mm-hmm.
certain ancestors or people or whoever. But I do think that somebody being an ancestor of yours or like having a blood relation does make it easier.
It makes it easier.
Yeah.
It's just like a tag lock,
Mhm.
but like times 10.
Yeah, times 10.
Times 10.
Like they're definitely going to have an easier time accessing you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they like have
Like have
um
a key that you can like just open the door and they can like
like
make you do things and
yeah.
and like be like start asking you for offerings and start demanding things of you. That's not how ancestral veneration works.
No, no. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Are
Oh god.
we kind of already did approach this briefly, but let's directly answer the question. Are other beings or deities more powerful than ancestral spirits?
Is the sky green? Like
Yeah, like
no. And I know there is this kind of sensationalization or like around the Greek deities
Mhm.
and the Egyptian deities and
All pantheons.
all pantheons. No, they're high. This is where I would say there's the caveat. The caveat is they're highly venerated.
Yeah.
Aphrodite's highly venerated, okay? Like
Yeah.
venerated. That is the difference. That's the difference. Here's the thing. If I'm sorry, I keep picking on Aphrodite.
No, you're fine. It's a good example
let me
though.
pick a different Zeus. Okay.
Yeah.
If everyone on planet Earth forgot Zeus's name and stopped venerating him, his power would dwindle over
Yeah.
time.
It's like the energy that you're putting into. That's why Chloe and I were saying, like, the more you venerate your ancestors, the more like reach they're gonna have.
Right. That's also how we as conjurers stumble upon like primordial beings
Mhm.
that used to be venerated highly
Oh, hey.
and have been forgotten. They didn't lose all that power. People just forgot that they had it
Yeah. Or don't know they exist.
or
Yeah.
don't know they exist. And that's another
It's a whole other topic. Yeah. I think that I'm personally just not really interested in that question. And I'm going to tell you
Oh.
why. Because truthfully, I think that it's rooted in this weird, like, competitive
Mhm.
mindset of, oh, who's more powerful than who? And we've seen this perpetuated a lot on social media. I know I've said this before. Why do we care? Like, it's not a competition. And it really makes me wonder if people that are asking this are getting into this for the right reasons.
Eyes on your own altar.
Mhm.
Eyes on your own altar. Worry about what's going on with whether it's deities, whether it's
Yeah.
ancestors, whether it's whatever. This is the one question you need to be asking yourself. Are you getting what you want in your life? Are you experiencing the experiences that you want in your life? Are you heading in the direction that you want in your life? Are your deities or spirits or ancestors aiding you in that? You,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be worried about, oh, well, this person works with Loki and they're getting everything that they want. So I'm going to go work with them. Loki may not want to fuck with you.
Yeah, I think that this is probably more common than people realize. Like, I literally have heard people straight up tell me, "Oh, I started venerating this specific deity because I saw that this deity gives people this thing."
And that is why I've lessened from mentioning the any if all of the deities that I venerate.
Me too.
I've
Yeah,
I've backed completely off. I don't talk about it at all anymore. I
me
actually
either.
kind of refuse to at this point because they're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you got this because like everyone attributes every time I talk about Venus or every time I talk about whatever, everybody thinks that I venerate Aphrodite. I don't.
They do think this though. They totally
They
do
think
think
that, and I
this. Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Like, no hate, no shade. I'm so
Right.
sorry. I keep picking on her. She's
No,
just
it's
very well
fine.
known. She's very well known. She's the first one that came to my
Yeah.
mind. She has like we've had convos.
Yeah.
We've had convos, especially because when I'm doing work or doing things for some of you who had customs and you venerate her, yeah, she
Exactly.
will pop up.
Right.
And wonderful, wonderful deity.
Yeah.
However, I don't venerate her, but people assume that you
Yeah.
venerate all these. How would y'all feel if I said I only venerate two different deities and everything else is ancestors?
Yeah. How would that make you feel? That's a really good question. And also, Chloe, I've moved away from speaking about any deities that I
Mm-hmm.
participate in veneration of for a variety of reasons, but one being what you spoke about.
Yep.
I think that people treat deities like collecting Pokemon,
Gotta catch them
and
all.
it's just insufferable.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Well, okay. The reason why I say it's a lot because for me, they're like
Yeah.
I can feel when you have a very in-depth, comprehensive ancestral practice, that's enough spirits.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure they're getting what they need, making sure that everybody isn't when I say in line, like what are y'all doing? What are we doing? What is
Yeah.
happening? Is is there something afoot? Is somebody throwing up? Like it's just a lot for ancestral veneration itself. And then to add other deities on top of it who, by the way, if you're doing a folk practice, you have to serve completely separately on a completely separate altar because you can't mix them.
No, you can't.
You cannot mix them. They will be pissed.
Yeah. And I think too, I've had questions, and this is connected to the ancestral practice, is in folk practice, specifically folk Christianity. How does the concept of God fit into ancestor veneration? And this is a really hard question. Do we want to go there?
I feel like so I got this question from my sister and from my mom, actually, because I was wearing, not a rosary, I was wearing a cross.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, well, I thought you completely deconstructed. I have respect for the fact that my ancestors, that was their belief.
Yeah.
That is the respect.
Yeah.
So it is my belief because it was their belief. I believe in what they believed in. Not that I am a practicing Christian or
really
that I
it.
believe in the concept of God.
Yeah.
And I understand the reverence and respect that they had for the practice. And that is why.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it depends on the practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I agree with that. I'm an omnist, so a little bit of a different perspective. It doesn't really matter. The point is that it really just is what fits best for you, because I do think that it's probably because I'm an omnist.
Yeah.
I'm like, everything can be true and nothing can be true.
Yeah. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. It's just like, who cares? It can work together, and syncretism exists because it's possible. Especially when, we've had ancestors that have been forced into conversion.
Right.
It's just a really touchy topic. So they can coexist.
They absolutely can coexist. And when you get like obviously super deep in the weeds, it's like the God in you is the God in the tree, and the God in the ground, and the God in the sky. And
define God.
Define God, and you can't. Like
that's the point.
That's the point. So my thing is that I respect what they believed in. That is my take. Doesn't mean that I am going to be going to church all the time, or like I might go as an offering to them.
Yeah, I think that that's a really popular thing to do.
Yeah.
Not like in a bad way. Like
not in a bad way. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a great offering.
Like going to mass.
Yeah.
Like I might just feel called. Or called to put Kirk Franklin on while I clean.
Some good music, man. Telling you gospel? You will
Saturday
feel
morning.
something.
Saturday morning cleansing the whole house.
If you feel like you need to feel something again, turn on some gospel music.
And then just dance and then cry. Because that's what always happens. And then you feel good again. Feel good with life again.
I'm glad you brought up going to church like as an offering, because it's kind of like in the living, maybe your sister or your dad or your mom likes to do something that's not really your cup of tea.
But you do it because you love them.
Yeah, and it's like a really fun experience. You like it because they like it.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing to me.
Yeah, I think it's very much the same thing.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up there on our Ancestors episode. We're so grateful that you guys tuned in and have continued to give us your feedback and support. We see the comments and the DMs and just all of the feedback, and we're so grateful. So if you guys have any other questions, any other topics that you want us to cover in future episodes, please leave them in the comments below. And we're hoping, we might cut this out. We're hoping to do like a monthly-ish schedule.
Monthly-ish schedule now.
Yeah.
That would be really exciting. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
All right. Love y'all. Bye.